Hello, everybody. Welcome back to HerPower Live. We're so happy to be with you today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Or if you're joining us by recording, welcome to you too. We are talking about limiting beliefs today. I'm Collie Rose. I'm here with Lili, Liliboo McGovern, and we are talking about limiting beliefs because we are curious to explore this topic a little more after our masterclass last week. If you missed it, it is available. It's on YouTube. I will drop the link in the HerPower group along with the recording for this session. And so if you missed it, definitely pop on and watch that because it was a fantastic exploration into like a first step in envisioning and purpose, discovering your passion, discovering your talents, recognizing your own talents, and discovering how you can serve people and how you can make money doing that. And that was a wonderful presentation by Agnes, our partner, on Ikigai. So that's the 4 principles of Ikigai, and bringing those together is your zone where you have the maximum impact. And most of us want impact. I know I want impact. I know Lili wants impact. I know Agnes and Karen also want impact. And I bet that you do too. We know we have something beautiful and powerful and incredible inside of us. And we have limiting beliefs. And they're holding every single one of us back in some way or another. And what we noticed during the session last week was there was a limiting belief that was coming up around money mindset, and whether we believed that what we have to give the world is worthy of money, is worthy of us being compensated for that. Which is a totally fascinating topic. It's a huge topic, and it's one that we all deal with. I feel pretty confident to say that. And we have to overcome it if we're going to have that impact that we truly want. And we thought a good way to sort of get into that topic and just begin to touch into it is by talking about limiting beliefs, because that's really where it's at and where it comes from. So that's where we're at. And Lili, do you want to jump in here and maybe just get us started with what the heck is a limiting belief anyways? Because
Yeah, what's the limiting belief? Why are we talking about this? Why is it important to you as a listener? And it's because our brain is like a garden, and our beliefs are like the things that are growing in the garden. And most of us are walking around with a garden full of weeds, which is a garden full of false fear-based beliefs that were developed during childhood when we made decisions about our life. And those decisions happened as a result of what we experienced, what we saw, what we heard, what went on around us, and then what our parents believed. And so oftentimes we do not examine our beliefs because it's hard to think, and it's hard to do this without guidance unless something goes wrong in your life, like you become addicted and you go into a 12-step program and you start looking at your beliefs. You'll probably notice that happens a lot. Or you join a personal development program and then you start getting into what David Bear calls a personal development purgatory of really becoming aware of all these limiting beliefs that you have. And most people walk around with this one question that they ask themselves all the time, every day. There's this primary question. And one of my clients, her primary question was, she found herself asking this all the time, like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? How come I can't get this right? And I was like, oh my God, I asked myself that same question. How about you, Kelly? Have you asked yourself that question?
I don't think that's a typical question for me. But I think I hear statements more and in such a subconscious way. Like as you're talking, what's coming to my mind is a fish doesn't know it's in water.
Mm,
Until the fish is out of the water and cannot breathe, it doesn't know that its environment is entirely water and it's dependent on water. And I think that's a lot how limiting beliefs often are too. They're so part of our experience of life and of ourselves and of the world that we're not necessarily even cognizant. Just like we're a fish surrounded by water, it just is what it is. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not been until I got into this purgatory of personal growth and development that I started to have this awareness of these subconscious thoughts that are always running in like this subliminal way and are telling me what I can and can't do. So yeah, I mean, I'll have to think about that a little bit. Is there a question? But I know there's some statements. There's some statements that come into my mind for.
Well, they're all different for us, right? And then I think you brought up a great point, which is like, how do I tell what I believe? Because oftentimes our beliefs are invisible and we don't understand what we believe. And in my Buddhist practice, it's very apparent what you believe because you can tell what you've believed by the results you've gotten in your life. And so there's something called the results formula or the belief matrix or the thought ladder. And it goes something like this. Whatever you believe is what you tend to focus your thoughts on. And then what you focus your thoughts on creates a simultaneous chemical reaction in your body called an emotion. And your emotions drive your actions, and then your actions lead to your results. So ultimately, if we go back to the beginning, your beliefs are causing your results. And so it's pretty easy to figure out if what you believe is serving you and it's a true belief, or what you believe is not serving you, disempowering you, and leaving you feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, or anxious. And so I love the framework that there's only two states we can be in. And we're either in our powerful state, feeling like great and creative, empathetic, and powerful, or we're in our primal survival state where we're feeling frustrated, overwhelmed, anxious, or bad. And those two states, it's you can never be in both of them at the same time. It's either one or the other. And so it's pretty simple to decide, oh, do I have some kind of limiting belief going on here because I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling bad. So what what's that triggering off in you, Kelly?
Well, you know what I'm thinking about is how this primal zone, it's all about being unhappy, kind of being miserable with your anxiety, with your frustration, with your disappointment, with your shame, with your guilt. And weirdly enough, we call it the comfort zone, right? Like it's strange that we're so attached to being in that state because we have this primal need to be safe and to survive. And yet it's not pleasant in spite of being comfort zone. And you're right. There's absolutely, you're in that comfort zone or you're in that space beyond the comfort zone where, yeah, it's not quite as comfortable. There, you feel the pressure of taking risk. Um, and yet that's where all the amazing things happen. That's where all the exciting things happen. That's where the big things happen that we want in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. We're stepping out of our comfort zones to the unknown, right? And so that what you talked about, that need for certainty, that's one of like the six human needs. We need certainty, we need safety, and we also need variety. We need the different. And we need love and connection, but we also need to be separate and we need to stand out and be significant. And then we also have the two other needs, which is growth and contribution. And so these all these needs are driving our beliefs about our reality. And so we could talk about this forever, but I wanted to really just get granular with people and have them think about a limiting belief or a false belief that you feel like is affecting your life right now and making decisions. And you brought one up earlier. Or actually, I would like to hear like a few of yours,
I was gonna say,
Callie. And
let's share with them
yeah,
the
yeah,
10 most common limiting beliefs
yeah.
because I think they really prime the pump and they really get you thinking like, yeah, I might resonate with that. Or, happily, you probably won't resonate with all 10. So you can say, nope, that's not one for me. So let's go through them. Let's go backwards. Let's start with 10. Okay.
Okay.
Top 10, starting with number 10. I'll never be a great leader.
Mm,
Number 9, I'm not talented enough.
Mm.
Number 8, I'll never be one of the best.
Mm.
Number 7 is I don't have enough money. You're going to notice there's a lot of them that are something about enough. Not enough, not enough, not enough. So we said not talented enough. Now we've got don't have enough money. Number 6 is I'll never be successful.
Mm.
Number
You could
5,
even say successful enough.
or successful enough. Exactly, right. Number 5, enough comes back again for sure. I don't have enough experience. Number 4, I'm not smart enough.
Mm.
Number 3, I don't have enough time. Number 2, I'm too old, or I'm not young enough.
Or I'm
um,
too fat, or I'm too thin, or I'm too stupid, or I'm too smart.
and this brings us to the grand central number 1 of all. I am not good enough. I'm not good enough.
Mm.
And there's all these other ways I might not be good enough, but the center is I'm not good enough.
Yeah. So, I'm not good enough is one universal belief that most people encounter during their life at some point in time, because at some point in time we weren't good enough. We didn't know what we were doing. We were kids and we were learning from these experts, these masters at life. And then we were comparing ourselves. And then we, went to school and we saw other people that were better than us. And, again, that was reinforced, that belief that I'm not good enough. And then perhaps, you get into a clique or a college or a sorority or a fraternity or whatever, and you feel again like, oh, I'm not good enough. So we keep finding evidence of this belief because our brains have this thing called the reticular activating system, which filters out everything that we don't need, and it focuses our minds. So our minds are kind of like a meaning making machines based on our filters that we have in place, and our beliefs are our filters. And so taking a look at your filter and deciding what you want to let in now that you're a grown up, now that you have some mastery, now that you have some skills, is a great way to start experiencing a new reality and new results based on creating these new beliefs.
Yes. Yes. We have to create some new beliefs, don't we? If we have all these weeds growing in our garden that say, I'm not good enough, how are we ever going to get
Right.
out of the comfort zone? How are we ever going to get to have that kind of fulfillment and impact and joy in our lives that we truly want to have?
Right. And so, I've had to work a lot on these automatic, habitual, patterned ways of thinking that come up every day, all the time, and decide whether I still believe in that belief. Do I still believe in that belief? And if I do believe in that belief, it's like, oh, well, what makes me think that I believe in that belief? So I have this matrix, this thought audit. And if you guys have a piece of paper and a pen, I'm just going to kind of go over the questions you can ask yourself. And there's a few columns here, and it's not complicated. And it helps you break down this belief of I'm not good enough. So, Callie, would you like to be the test subject here and give us some answers about this not good enough belief?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, this is my numero uno for sure, that I'm super aware of at this point. So yeah, let's play with it.
Okay, so there's well, I just for the sticklers out there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 columns if you want to get it right, but there's no getting it right. And we'll give you a handout after this so that it has the framework. You can write this down. But the first column is what is the limiting belief, or what is the belief that you think is making you feel bad, is not serving you. So just go ahead and write down I'm not good enough. Just write that belief down. And then we want to figure out, like, how much does this affect us? Let's give it a number on a scale of 1 to 10. How much does this belief that I'm not good enough affect every area of my life because that's what beliefs do, especially global beliefs. The invisible ones, the ones that we don't know about until we start looking at that. So how much does that affect you,
I
Callie?
mean, I would have to say it would be 100% effect. It affects every part of my,
Okay.
and in some way, I buy into I'm not good enough and it trips me
Okay.
up. So whether it's my business, whether it's my marriage, whether it's my friendships, it's any of it, right? That there is this fundamental belief that creates the reality.
Yeah, and I remember like marrying into my husband's family and meeting them, for the very first time thinking, "Oh my God, I'm not good enough for this family." They're like a normal white Caucasian American family. Nothing ever happened in their life like in my life. Like they didn't experience the trauma or the drama or any of this stuff. And I just felt completely not good enough. So I know that affected the way that I showed up to them. You know what I mean? Because it's like if you don't believe you're good enough, then
Yeah.
how are you going to show up?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm aware of it now, so I make conscious choices that are in opposition to that belief because I don't believe it anymore. But, fundamentally and on a like subconscious operating level, 100%. I would say 100%.
Okay, well then mark a 10. Just write a 10 in that column. And then ask yourself, why do I believe that? Why do I believe that thought?
Just like we were
Why
talking.
do I believe that I'm not good enough?
Mhm. Yeah, just like we were talking about before, it
Mhm.
goes back to, well, I mean, it really goes back beyond my childhood because if I look at it, this was a belief my mother had. This was a belief her
Mm,
mother. This was probably a belief her mother had. I didn't never talk to her. I don't know, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
take a big guess and say this travels down my family tree. And what we know now about epigenetics is our DNA actually absorbs the traumas that we go through and we pass them down to future generations. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, I can look back at very early childhood where there was no reason for me to feel the way that I felt in terms of my own lived experience, and yet those feelings were there. And so, yes, I know it comes even through my family tree, through my DNA. And then I had plenty of experiences in my childhood that reinforced for me that I was not good enough.
Well,
Absolutely.
just share one little story about, what, just when I ask you, when you were a kid, where was that place where you felt like, "Oh, I'm not good enough?"
Well, okay, so I had a friendship with another little girl from when I was like about 6, probably like first grade, and she lived around the corner from me. And so, we could walk back and forth to each other's house. And so I spent a lot of time in her home. And her mother definitely instilled this "you're not good enough" belief in me because she was very, looking back, I know she was very insecure about herself and she was very insecure about her child. And she wanted her
Mhm.
child to have all of the success that she felt that she didn't have in her life. And so she needed to make me smaller so that her own child could be more shiny, if that makes sense. So she made all kinds of offhanded comments to me over the years about how I was not good enough. I was, not as cute, not as well dressed, not as intelligent, and multiple of these, and some of that I'm sure was subconscious, and some of it was very clearly stated to me. So it absolutely reinforced "you're not good enough."
Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, those are powerful stories. That brings me back to my childhood and going over to friends' houses that were, they had a lot more money. They had a dad in their house. I didn't have a dad in my house. It's what seemed like the American dream, and it was always like, oh, I'm never going to be as good as these people. So, yeah, I
I'm so
totally get
honored
that.
to be, friends with this little girl for whatever reason. It was
Yeah.
important to me. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure my mother would have said you can't go there anymore if she knew any of it. So even from a
Right.
very young age, I was hiding it that I.
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, then we get into the hiding. Okay, we're going to keep talking about this.
Say
Loving this
that,
talking.
man.
Okay, so the next column is this is the fourth column is what is it about that belief that is no longer true?
I mean, that belief was never true, right? But I was small, and you had mentioned this already too, that
Yeah.
she was an authority figure, this other mother, and I had
Mm.
not see her that way. I was a little girl. And so it's not true, and it never was true, that I'm not good enough. And, yeah, that's just fundamental.
Well, it's funny when we start examining these things under the light of our awareness, it kind of melts away with, our rational mind. Oh, like, well, that's so silly. Like, that's a silly belief.
Especially when you
Okay,
can see, as an adult, all of the dynamics that were going on there that you weren't as able to process as a child, and then you look
right.
what, the baggage was that was going on for this woman. And, we're grown women now too, and we know we have our baggage. So, it's
Yes.
easy to see if I have false beliefs, that woman had false beliefs.
It's so easy to see other people's false beliefs than it is to see our own, isn't it?
Oh, right. Yes. Because, yeah, blind spots for us, other people usually can see quite clearly.
Well, I think that's the beauty of being alive and then being in container with other powerful women is that we get to reflect back to each other those blind spots in a very loving and compassionate way. So yeah, because
Yeah.
why else are we born with 7 billion people around us if not
And
to
compassion,
get some
right?
feedback?
Right. And I mean, we become compassionate when we are aware of our own fundamental flaws, then, we allow that other people also have these flaws. And it doesn't mean that they're bad or lesser or any of those things. It's, hey, I want to help you out, friend. Like, how, like if your friend's tag is showing, or they have some like spinach on their teeth, or their necklace is, like the little clasp is down here, right? Like, you want to help them and fix it for them. It's the same. It's the same thing.
I love that. I love when another woman will come up to me and just gently touch my shoulder and go, "Oh, hang on, your tag is showing. Do you care if I tuck it back in?" I'm like, "No, please, please tuck it back in." Or hang on, you got like a little something right here. You're like, "Oh, okay, thank you." And
Yeah,
then,
I mean, it's blind spots,
and
right?
then sometimes, you go through a whole day and then you get to the mirror and you're like, "Oh my God, how come nobody told me I had a piece of mascara here like under my eye the whole day?" So it's like, who am I surrounding myself with? And do they have my back? And this is what we're talking about as a community and a tribe that we're creating here of like-minded goddesses who have each other's back. And how do these friendships and relationships evolve? And they usually evolve and happen in a sacred container where you get to spend time together and do some difficult work like we're doing here today, which is digging into some beliefs that you may not want to let go of.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard to let go.
There's a safety in what you know, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
You
Okay,
want
you're
to
doing
feel about
fabulous.
the
Okay, so the next column is this is a great question. I love this one. What other beliefs do I have to believe in order to think that that was still true? And it can be tricky, but it's kind of just like you're searching around, that this
limiting
I'm not
beliefs that
good
are
enough
attached.
feeling.
Yeah, the
I'm sorry,
limiting
go ahead.
beliefs, the cascade of limiting beliefs that are attached to
Yes,
that
yes,
belief.
yes,
Okay, so the
yes.
number one for me is there's not enough time.
Okay.
And that is how I externalize it. And
Write
so,
that down. Write that down.
there's
This
not
is
enough
it's
time.
very important when we get things out of our head to write them down on paper because it makes it not so scary and it also gives you something that you can look at. It gives you a benchmark and it's writing down also is like for sense memory and for changing things in your life. It's just a way to like declutter, organize.
Somebody's frozen. Oh, there we go. There we go. We froze for a moment there, or you froze for.
Oh, okay.
You're still jittery.
Did okay. So what other beliefs do you Oh, yeah. Am I frozen again? Okay.
No? Am I
Okay,
pressing?
it says my internet connection is unstable. Every time it does that, I gotta like wait, go back and forth to see who's moving. Is it me or them?
Can I stabilize it? I like
I'm
that.
kind of floating here on the ocean. So
Floating on the sea. Floating on the sea. Yeah, so the time one. I don't have enough money for sure. That one comes up too. Hmm.
okay, okay.
Uh,
I don't have enough seems to be a theme with you, and
oh,
that's a
isn't it though? Yeah, all the ways we can
yeah,
never.
that's a core wound of the warrior archetype is that they have insufficiency. They don't have enough.
Well,
I'm
I
just
am the
letting you
warrior
know this.
mermaid, so
Yes, there you go. I love it. I love it. I love it. And okay. So yeah, you have a couple other beliefs surrounding that. I'm not good enough, right? I'm not good enough because
yeah,
I
let's
have
go
this.
over
I'm not good enough because I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I've been told that I have inadequacies. And then so the very last column is what would be a more empowering belief for you to own other than I'm not good enough?
Well, I mean, I think it's logically flip it on its head. I am enough.
Yes.
Have enough time. I have enough money. I have all of the resources that I need. And I do truly believe that, this is an abundant universe and I am a fundamental part of it. I am my own divine, right? So it really is buying into the notion that all of that was just wrong and all of that programming was false and I have to remind myself of that. I have to pull those weeds literally
Mm.
every day. They will come back because they are very, they're very well established.
Yeah, and just like weeds, our thoughts keep coming back until we've fundamentally shifted them as part of our identity, right? And so if we want to change our lives, if we want to change the way we show up in the world, we change our beliefs based on who we want to become and who we are and our conceptions of ourselves is going to determine your results in the world. So if you conceive of yourself as being not good enough, that's part of your fundamental identity, then every area of your life, like Kelly was just sharing, is going to be affected, including your ability to make money, your ability to hang on to a relationship, your ability to find your passion and carry that out, your ability to contribute to the world or not contribute to the world. So the most fundamental global belief that you have the power to change, that will change everything in your life, is do I live in a friendly or a hostile universe? And that is a quote from Einstein where he says, that's your most important decision. And I know when I made that decision, do I live in a friendly universe? Do I live in a universe that has order, that has laws that I could follow? Or do I live in a chaotic, unpredictable society where I have to be on defending myself all the time? And I used to live over there. I know this place really well, just like you were talking about, Kelly. Like, oh my gosh, if you walk around thinking you got to defend yourself all the time and that life is hostile and that you have to defend yourself and you have to go out and conquer everything and you have yeah, it's like it's a lot different from showing up like, oh, I live in a friendly universe. Like life has my back. I'm always being taken care of. When I started examining that, I figured out like, oh, I have always been taken care of. I've gotten through those bad times, and my life is so abundant, so abundant. I mean, just look outside at the trees. Look at the dirt. There's like so much dirt. There's so many grains of sand on the beach. There's so many leaves in the trees. It's like, what are we focusing our minds on? Are we focusing our minds on what we don't have, in that we believe life is lack and it's fear? Or are we focusing our minds on all the abundance around us all the time? And so that's our choice. That's our a belief, really. I think fundamentally what I want to get across is our beliefs are a decision that we make. And we get to make that decision every single day at every single moment. Do I believe I live in a friendly or a hostile universe at this moment? with this person in front of me. And if you do believe you live in a friendly, divinely ordered universe, that everything's working out for the best. This person in front of me is helping me, giving me feedback, training my mind, allowing me to grow into a new version of myself that can handle this person. Or, oh my God, I got to get out of here. I got to run away. I got to avoid this. And, then we start getting into disempowering behaviors and patterns and reactions. And then we get those results in our lives. So hopefully we can all start just, having that idea like, oh, I can change my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. I can change my mind. I can change my mind every single day. I can change my mind with every single person. I can change my mind with every single circumstance.
Yeah, I'm just letting that sit. Because a lot of us think we can't change our minds and we can't change our beliefs. And we don't even know that our beliefs are causing our realities. So, are our results, right? So, hopefully, this conversation has sparked off some ideas within you. Maybe you've gotten a few limiting beliefs or false beliefs that you didn't even know you had. And hopefully, some hope that there's help available. If you want to work through some of these things, you can contact Callie or myself or Karen or Agnes. This is what we do for a living. This is our passion. This is our mission, to help you step into your power, to help you realize that you have a choice at every moment. I can choose a new reality, or I can choose to hang on to the old one. And there's no judgment around where you decide to go. It's just what kind of level of feeling are you feeling right now? Are you feeling excited and passionate about your life? Or are you feeling overwhelmed and anxious and frustrated? Because you don't got to stay there. So that's our invitation to you, is really like, come over here and come swim with us in Croatia. Come play. Let's have fun. Let's do some hard work together, and let's hold each other and reflect back each other's brilliance, so that we remember we're infinite, eternal creators, because you are. I
That is
love you.
the beauty of a retreat. That's the beauty of it, is we create this space for each other and hold each other, and we make magic happen that utterly changes lives. So that's what Croatia is all about. That's what we're all about. We'll sign off here for this HerPower, and we will be here again next week. It's 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. UK, 6 p.m. Central European time. So we hope you'll join us, and we hope you're giving really serious consideration to coming on board and spending time in Croatia to up level and to live your best life.
We love you. Remember, your history is not your destiny, and every moment is a new moment to choose a new you.
Thank you, Lili.
Thank you, Callie.